Chuck E. Chan.
Here comes Chuck E. Chan.
Martial arts expert of reptile land.
I've been watching videos online for quite a long time, from the early days of YouTube. Guys like Angry Video Game Nerd, The Amazing Atheist, and so many others. White Boy 7th Street. The greatest content creator online, in my opinion, is very clearly Extra Emily. Now, she's only been streaming for about 5 years. She just recently had her 5-year anniversary of streaming on Twitch. She is outstanding. I was slightly familiar with her prior to her joining the organization OTK, which is a group of streamers, including Asmongold, Emaru, various others. I think Asmon might have left the organization, at least to some extent, but this Austin group of streamers. And I had seen a little bit of Emily before and knew she was very funny and outgoing and had this bright positivity. She certainly was clearly one of the best streamers, but as she joined OTK and I sort of saw more and more of her, and I also got more into OTK's content probably because of her and Emaru, to be fair, I noticed that Emily was just the best. She clearly outshines the other members of OTK, who themselves are pretty clearly the most entertaining group of streamers. Maybe it's because they have a variety of personalities, but I find that each member of OTK is able to stream in a very entertaining way. The idea of watching a Twitch stream to me was always kind of slightly boring. Even very entertaining streamers like Tyler1 can get kind of boring to watch because he's just so locked into the game that he's playing that sometimes he forgets to say entertaining things. But obviously there's other times where he's extremely entertaining, where he's going off exaggerating his height and crazy achievements. He used to always go on these rants of how he saved multiple children from a burning building. He's throwing cars across the street and just insane heroics of unhuman proportions. So Emily definitely noticeably stood out above everyone else, and she continues to, as she is just very funny, very clever, very smart, very entertaining. She can be doing anything, whether she's collaborating with others, which she's amazing at because she can often carry the group, whether she's cooking steak in a random parking lot. She just is able to continue to talk on very long live streams and sort of keep the ball rolling, keep the entertainment value there. So recently she was a part of something called Streamer University. So Kai Cenat, who's I believe the most viewed streamer on Twitch, did this event called Streamer University, where the professors were streamers and the students were streamers, and it sort of was this giant networking event, which was just really awesome. Now, I'm not all that familiar with Kai Cenat, right? He's super popular. I've seen some clips of him. I often see clips of him collaborating with famous people, famous musicians, comedians. Here's him with Ice Spice. He's kind of the Joe Rogan of Twitch, because Joe Rogan's podcast heavily relies on two things. One is having celebrity guests, having guests that other people just simply can't get, which adds so much watchability. But also Joe Rogan's ability to interview, to ask sort of oddball questions. Some people will point to Joe Rogan's fascination on certain topics as being a negative thing towards his podcast and making it less entertaining, but I think it really adds a lot of value, in particular in the way that it keeps the interviewee on their toes. They don't know which direction necessarily Joe is going to take the podcast into, so they kind of have to be open to talk about anything, and it's not going to allow them to get comfortable as you would with sort of regular interviews where you already know what the questions are going to be. You've already rehearsed your answers. this is a different style where all of a sudden you could be talking about aliens or some sort of illegal substance or illegal substance. Most substances are legal nowadays. But it really keeps people on their toes and really keeps the podcast very interesting. That's why you can have guests on multiple times and it still be some of the most interesting stuff. Even if you hate Alex Jones, the Alex Jones episodes of the Joe Rogan podcast are some of the most entertaining videos you can possibly watch on the internet. Even if you like hate Alex Jones, the stuff he says is funny and it's interesting. And Kai has so much interesting guests that it sort of has a similar effect. And Kai himself is very charming, very entertaining. He is good, but he is not as good as Extra Emily. I would say Kai is clearly top 10 of these live streamers overall, like all live streamers. Like, he's great. That's why he's at the top. It's not like he would just suck at it. You don't get to the top by just being terrible. But this event, Streamer University, was very interesting to watch. It really opened my eyes to a lot of black content creators, because it was a majority of black people were the students, the teachers, and the event itself was like so cool. Like, I actually now follow and watch several streamers from here, but really cool event. And Extra Emily applied to be a part of it, and she was chosen. As soon as she applied, I knew. I literally said Kai Cenat would be out of his mind to not select Extra Emily. She is literally the best, the absolute best. You cannot watch her and not notice that she has this X factor, that she brings so much more entertainment value than other streamers do. She's hilarious. She's doing crazy dances. She's saying crazy things. She's just this ball of positivity and literally carries streams with her colleagues and has been for quite a while. So of course he did select her, and she was a professor at Streamer University, and she killed it. There are so many clips, like check it out on YouTube, of her just collaborating with other people, being this insane networking like god. Like, just her ability to just show everyone respect and friendship, and it's just so, she did a better job than I thought she would, and I literally see her as clearly the best streamer, period. But she just makes friends everywhere she goes, and just was willing to collaborate with everyone, not in the level of just saying hi, hello, but actually like having conversations with people, having fun with people, being a part of things, and things got pretty wild at times. Like when Agent goes into that one room, it was pretty good. It was a great event, very entertaining, and Emily was a big part of the entertainment. So ever since this event, Kai multiple times has reacted to the clips of Emily and just has such a very positive perspective of Emily, and sees her as the enormous great entertainer that she truly is. And I think I have always felt the same way about Emily. like I've been familiar with her for longer, so I've always known this about her. And I think this Streamer University thing certainly propelled her. Like, she went to some convention, which, to be fair, there was a lot of Streamer University streamers who were also there, but the amount of recognition she gets just walking down the street, it's more than doubled. Like, she's now a streamer who can't like really go out in public and not have multiple people notice her, want pictures with her. Like, the amount of good PR that she now has is crazy, and she absolutely deserves it because she is the most entertaining. I would say of streamers, I would say my top 3 are Extra Emily, number 1, number 2 Asmongold, And number 3, Dantes, the League of Legends streamer. Dantes, similar to Emily, very funny, very wacky and wild, comedy gold. Now, Asmongold, he's a little less wacky, but he's certainly wacky. I really hope things go well with his house. He's getting his house inspected for asbestos and possibly like mold. I think he should definitely consider doing a full rebuild. Get like a what do they call it? Like an architect or I don't know what you need, but a guy who can basically make up a blueprint for a house if he does do a full rebuild, especially if he doesn't have a basement. I would really recommend you do a full rebuild. But say you want exactly the same house or like the same layout of a house, you could literally replicate, rebuild the entire house, but then add like another bedroom or make the proportions a little bit bigger on the house, or make like maybe the front part of the house, make the house a little longer, add a bunch of junk in the trunk, like add another bedroom, another bathroom. Especially, I don't know how many bathrooms his place has, but you could literally, like, I would do a full rebuild if I was him and at least add one more bathroom and do something cool with the backyard. He's certainly a creature of habit. He likes living in his house, but if the conditions of your house are unlivable, then you got the means to totally change it. Obviously, it would suck if you had to full rebuild. Like maybe you wouldn't be able to live in your house for an entire year. But he's mentioned that there's a good chance that there's some stuff that's going to get done to his house for at least a couple months. He's going to be not living in his house, and he's mentioned recently on a stream places he wanted to travel, and one of the places that kind of stood out to me was China, because recently Extra Emily, I believe it was Extra Emily, maybe it was somebody else, they pointed out that China is this giant untapped market for streamers and YouTubers in America and in the English speaking world. Now granted, there's a bit of a language barrier, but I think that Streamer University has propelled Extra Emily forward. And if say this is my like dream team, is she and Asmongold do a China trip. They literally go to China and stream it, because Extra Emily's just the absolute goat of IRL streaming. Bring like a cameraman. Bring Joe Rogan if you can. This is if I was like the producer of the internet and I could just make anything happen. I would say that Extra Emily and Asmon do like a week or 2 week long trip to China. And for at least like a couple days of it, like maybe 2 days, that Joe Rogan and Kai Cenat go with them. I think that would be crazy. That would go absolutely crazy. I think the crossover, they're literally in the same org together, Extra Emily and Asmon, but there are so many similarities here. They both both don't believe in showering. They're both very entertaining. I think Asmon, even though he's like he's the top political streamer, he's the top WoW streamer, like he's the top in all these categories. He's got so many haters who want to like pretend like he's just doesn't bring anything to the table when he's insanely entertaining. He's funny, he's clever, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing as an entertainer. Like, so many streamers are just unwatchable, bland, they say nothing, they just throw on a video and don't actually give their opinion, don't react. There's a reason that Asmongold, that he reacted to something that everyone was following anyway, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, that he stood out, that he got a ton of viewership. It's because he's freaking entertaining. Like Extra Emily, like Dantes, these people can do anything and it will be entertaining. Absolutely it will, because they themselves are entertaining and they understand that and they're good at it. Right? Like Kai Cenat understands that. Joe Rogan understands that. And I think these guys, Emily, Asmon, and Dantes are literally better at it. They just don't have the popularity of a Sinat or a Rogan. Maybe Asmon kind of does. But I think there's other people who are just phenomenal. So I think if they at least did a trip to China, Asmon and Emily, and like a cameraman, it would go hard. And if they could tap in to the Chinese audience, which I think Extra Emily certainly could, I think you could see her literally taking the top spot easily. Like, I think she could blow Kai Cenat completely out of the water because there's just so many people in China. There's a reason that Hollywood panders to China so freaking hard. And I believe it was Extra Emily recently like said something like that. It was something about the proportions. If you look at the proportions of things in China, like look at League of Legends and the Chinese super server. Like they have so many people that it makes North America look like a joke in terms of the amount of people engaging with things online. It's an absolute joke. I don't know how you tap into the Chinese market, but it is like enormous to where it could propel you like way past Joe Rogan. Honestly, like if someone can do it, can get like, I feel like the Spanish market too. Like if you can get English, Spanish, Spanish, Chinese, Chinese, English, any combination of these three, you can become like an absolute megastar. And it would be cool to see Extra Emily be the person to do it, because just absolute gold. If you've never watched any streamer at all, I recommend Extra Emily. Just absolute the GOAT.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Spread their racks on them.